Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a video all about things that you should and shouldn't bring to college with you. I've seen a ton of these in my subscription box lately, and I just kind of wanted to jump in and give you guys my insight in what has worked for me throughout the last 2 years or so moving in and out of college. Obviously, a lot of this could very well vary if you're going to a different school than me, a different area of the country, different type of school, all of that kind of stuff. But just for reference, I'm going to be a junior at Elon University, and like I said, this is what's worked for me, and I hope that you guys find it helpful. So I'm just going to jump in with the things that I believe that you shouldn't bring to college with you. So the first one on my list is school supplies, and I know that that sounds kind of weird because obviously university, college is school, but I bought so much stuff freshman year that I am still trying to use up going into my junior year. Unlike high school, a lot of your classes are just taking notes, and most of them you can do that on a laptop or just with one notebook. You really don't need a ton of different pens and pencils and glue sticks and a ton of different office supplies. So what I found works best for me is just having one notebook. So 3 subjects, 5 subjects, however many is necessary for my course load, with all of my notes in them, so they're all in one place. I don't like having things separate because in college, at least for me, my schedule changes each day. So I feel like there's been way too many instances where I've thought it was Tuesday and it's really Wednesday or something like that, so I've been unprepared. So I just like to have everything together. And then I'll also just have one folder where I keep any handouts, any test quizzes, anything like that. I personally don't get that much written work or worksheets handed out to me in college, so I don't really need folders, and I think that that's pretty universal across the board, but obviously it could vary. And then as far as actual school supplies go, bring maybe a couple pens, pencils, highlighters. So when it comes to school supplies, less is more with college. You're probably living pretty close to a Target or Walmart or something like that. You can always buy stuff if you need it. Amazon Prime is also a great option. So just bring less, you can always buy more later. So the next one kind of follows the last one, and that is a printer. I personally didn't bring a printer my freshman year of college, but some of my friends did, and honestly, you just don't really need it. Your school probably has tons of printers. I know my school, you get printing dollars. I have not even come close to finishing mine. I'm pretty sure I still had $40 left over this year. Especially because college is so expensive as it is, you don't need to be spending $40 on ink and $100 on a printer, or however much you would spend, because your campus probably has access to them. The printers on campus are also most likely going to be much nicer than a printer you would have in your room or your house. So just keep that in mind when you're purchasing things for college, that a printer might not really be necessary. So my next thing on my list is an iron and an ironing board. You are not going to have that much time in college to sit there and iron all of your clothes. It's a great idea in theory, but it's just realistically not going to happen. You're probably not going to do laundry for a month anyway. So what I would recommend doing is getting a steamer. My roommate had one freshman year and we used it all the time. You can find them at Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, Amazon for $20, which is also probably less expensive than buying a new iron and ironing board. They're super easy to use. You just fill the bottom with water, it heats up, and you can steam any wrinkles out of your clothing, which is perfect for college. It stows away really small. You can find some that are literally this big, super small. It's a lot faster of an option as well, and like I said, it takes up a lot less space in a dorm, so I think that a steamer is a much better option than bringing an iron and an ironing board. My fourth thing on my list is too many clothes. I brought my entire wardrobe with me freshman year. Every piece of clothing I had with me in my dorm, which is just not necessary. There's going to be things that you don't need, really fancy formal dresses, unless if you're in some sort of extracurricular, sorority, fraternity, whatever, that you would need a formal dress. Don't bring them, or bring just 1 or 2. You don't need all 6 that you own from high school or anything like that. Your closets are probably tiny. It's just easier to get ready in the morning when you have less options. Not necessarily no options, but you don't need 20 gray t-shirts. Just bring 4, you know? Same with t-shirts. You're gonna get a ton of free t-shirts in college. I know I did. So don't bring all of your t-shirts. Just bring 10 or 15. That's even a little bit excessive, but I'm a t-shirts person, so you know. I have a couple other videos going more in depth on this in my channel, 10 clothing items to pack for college, and I also have some minimalism videos around clothing and cutting back, decluttering on my channel as well, so I will go ahead and link those down below if you want to hear more of my like insight and mindset behind bringing less to college. And then the last thing I have on my list of things to not bring is high school. I was totally guilty of this. I remember packing for college and like thinking I should bring my yearbook with me, which like why would I ever need that? I don't know. College is a new chapter in your life. It's totally fine to reminisce on high school. I know I loved my high school experience. I had a great time, but you don't need to bring every like memorable piece of it with you. So what I did my freshman year is I just had like a cork board and I just put a ton of photos of all my high school friends and the things back home on there, and that was a good way to keep it like in one little area. It's condensed, it's there when you need it, it's comforting, but it's not overbearing. You don't need to bring your entire high school experience with you. And I know it can be hard. I was definitely really like antsy my first couple weeks of college, and I reminisce on high school a ton, which I think is normal, but you just don't need to bring every memorable piece with you, if that makes sense. So moving on to things that I think you should bring to college with you. The first one is a tapestry. I love Society 6 tapestries. I think that they're so well made. They're fairly priced for how ethical of a company it is. I've worked with them a couple times on my channel, but I genuinely love their products. I think their tapestries are great. Tapestries in general are great for college dorms because they lay flat against the wall. They don't take up a lot of space, but they add a really like comforting and warm vibe to the room. I think the tapestries are the perfect solution to wanting to make your space feel homey and warm, but not taking up too much space or having like pointless decor. So going along with that, the second thing that I think that you should bring to college is fairy lights. I love having fairy lights in my dorm. I had them my freshman year and my sophomore year, and I just had them like kind of above my bed. They're really great for at nighttime when you don't want your like overhead lights on, or if your roommate's sleeping. It provides enough light to like do things and move around, but it's not an intrusive amount of light that would bother a sleeping roommate, like I said, or it just makes the room feel so much more warm and cozy and homey. And if you're living in like a cinder block room, it can really help transition the space, and it's a pretty inexpensive option to do so. So my third thing that I have written down that you should bring is an external hard drive. I have 3 external hard drives right now, which is a bit overkill, but I am super paranoid about my computers crashing, files getting deleted. They're so important in college. You can get external hard drives pretty inexpensive, like $60 or so, and you basically just plug it into your computer and you can back up your computer or drag files on just to have them in a really safe place. My computer has crashed twice now in college where I've had to go to the Apple store and get it wiped, which is just so unfortunate, but if I didn't have my external hard drives, I would have lost everything. They're also great if you're working on a project in like a computer lab in your school and you want to keep working on it at home. It's a good place to store all those files. It keeps your computer running faster because you're not holding all of those like working rendering files on your computer, especially if you're a comm major. This might not apply to other majors as much, but if you're a comm major like myself, you definitely need an external hard drive. So the fourth thing I have written down that you should bring to college is Venmo. And I know this isn't something you can like tangibly bring, it's just an app on your phone. So if you don't already know, Venmo is just like a money transferring app. It's really safe. I've used it for a couple of years now and I love it. It's really great for those situations where you know you have friends that say they'll pay you back, but you know that they just won't. Or if you're like me and I just never have cash on me, I just don't really like it. I prefer just using my card. So if somebody is like taking cash only, I can be like, hey, like, can I just Venmo you? So it's a good way to like instantly pay someone or get money back if somebody owes you money. And I know a lot of schools are starting to transition where you can pay for things like tickets, events, like things like that through Venmo. I know my school's like slowly getting there. And it's just a really great free app to use, and everybody needs it. Everybody needs it. So the last thing I have on my list to bring is a water filter. Most likely you're not gonna have the best drinking water accessible in your dorm. Like you'll be like a water fountain down the hall or something like that. It's just really nice to have a filtered water system or a water bottle, something that's reusable and not just like plastic water bottles in your dorm. I've used a Brita and I've used a Soma filter, and I think the Soma filter is 20 gazillion times better than Brita filters. I'll link it down below. I love it. It's essentially the same concept as a Brita filter. It just works so much better. It's a lot faster. It's beautiful looking, and the filters are pretty inexpensive. I absolutely love my Soma filter. I think the water tastes great. I'm sure that depends on like where you're getting the water from, but regardless, I love it. And I think that having water in college is so essential because you're constantly like running around doing things. It's easy to forget to like take care of yourself and drink water. So if you have it in your fridge or you just like have a reminder to drink water, I think that that can really help like keep your immune system up, especially living in a dorm for the first time. Like you're surrounded by so many people, like you're bound to get sick. But just like even drinking water, like I said, really helps keep your immune system up, keeps your skin glowing, everything like that. Water is great. So that's actually everything on my list of what to bring and what not to bring to college. I hope that you guys found it helpful. If you have any other suggestions of things that you think are needed or not needed in college, please leave them in the comment section down below. I would love to read through them, and I'm sure people viewing this video would find them really helpful as well. All my social media will be linked in the down bar per usual. I've been posting a ton on my Instagram and Twitter lately, and I'd love for you guys to check it out. And with all that being said, I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.